Hello, everybody. I think we are now live. It is Fiona Lukes for my 1:30 Friday live Q&A session, which I run every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We're in Daylight Savings now here in Melbourne, Victoria, so that's very exciting. It is a warm day today. Summer is coming. It's really, really nice, and it's our very first day out of lockdown. Well, for some people, it's the first day out of lockdown. So it's been a long time coming, this one. So hey, Jason, nice to see you here. Thanks for dropping in and saying hello. Yes, so I'm very excited. It is not that my day's going to change much, but it is our first day out of lockdown. One of my children is back at school after being at home for months on end, and it is my wedding anniversary. So very, very excited. 17 years of being married to my beautiful husband, Sam. And as some of you know, hey, Roz. Hey, Kirsten. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for saying hi. It's always nice if you have just logged on, feel free to say hi and let me know where you're from. I always love to hear from people. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. Yeah, we're very excited. And especially because we're now out of lockdown, not that that will really change anything for us. We probably won't go too far away, but because it's really hard to get into restaurants and things, and also there's all sorts of restrictions still in place. But it's just nice to know that something has changed, albeit just this much. But yes, it's my wedding anniversary, and the reason I kind of want to mention that is because not only because I'm excited, but as some of you know, my husband and I almost didn't make it. And when I think of how close we came to not being where we are, I find it really distressing because we were so close. Around 9-10 years ago, I was ready to walk away from my marriage. I thought we were done, and I thought there was no coming back from that. So until I discovered the understanding that I now teach, and the difference in my marriage has been extraordinary, and to be where we are now, closer than ever, more connected than ever, more playful than ever, is just a wonderful gift, and I'm very grateful for that. So I wanted to share that with you all, because it's always something that strikes me when our anniversary comes around, and I just see the difference in the level of goodwill, in the level of ease and playfulness and all those things between us that 10 years ago was not there. It just wasn't. So I'm immensely grateful for that. Thank you, Jason, for the congratulations. Hi, Gino. Thanks for stopping by and wishing me congratulations. I really appreciate that, from Nevada. Wow, thank you so much. Hi, Sylvia from beautiful Upper North Shore. I do know the Upper North Shore very well in Sydney. My grandmother used to live there, and I did date a surfer from Sydney many years ago in my early 20s, who was from the Upper North Shore, and he took me to, well, I didn't really go surfing, but he took me to all the beaches around there. It's a beautiful part of the world, Sylvia, that you live in. So this is today's Friday Live, and I thought one of the things that I thought might be, because it is my anniversary and I was doing some reflecting this morning. Reflecting is a very big part of my day. It's a big part of what I build into my life. And when I'm mentoring other practitioners to do this work, I say to them, you must build in reflection time into your week, into your day. This is because when we are reflecting, and this is a great thing for anybody to know, when we are reflecting, our intellectual mind is quiet. It's like the gatekeeper comes down, and you are more likely to, it's not a prerequisite, there's no prerequisites in life, but you are more likely to have insight, fresh ideas, clearer thinking, to have a more philosophical viewpoint, and we could all do with that. So I was reflecting in the early hours this morning before my first client of the day, and thinking about where all the different things that my husband and I have gone through to get to the point where we are now. And I thought in today's Q&A that might be helpful for some of you, because I know a lot of people who know my story reach out to me because and they'll say, Fiona, I read your story and oh my goodness, I so relate. Sorry, that's my dog. I so relate to what you're saying. I so relate to what you've shared. I so relate to how you feel. That's how I feel in my relationship, or, I've gone through a similar thing. So I know that when we share what's going on for us, people can actually start to see the sameness. People can start to see that they're not the only ones going through something. They can see that there is hope and possibility if you are feeling stuck in your relationship, or if you feel that there is no possibility for anything to change. Because one of the things that I have seen in the many people that I get the absolute honor and privilege to work with, and in my online program Relatable, is that many people end relationships not necessarily because they want to, but because they feel stuck, and because they feel that there is no possibility for them to change. There is no kind of roadmap forward. And so I really wanted to kind of speak to that today, because that was me. I was absolutely convinced that my marriage was finished. I was convinced that there was no moving forward for us. I felt that we were too different. I felt that we didn't have enough in common, that our values were too different, and I felt that I had lost the love and respect for my husband. That was my version. That's how I saw things at the time. So, if someone had come to me in that time and said, Fiona, actually, I can show you a simple, easy way forward where you can reconnect, and where a lot of your upset, the self-righteousness, the anger, the frustration will fall away and something else will show up, I would have been extremely skeptical. And in fact, I would have said, I don't believe you. So, I can totally understand if you're listening and you're feeling skeptical, because this is now what I'm saying to those of you who are listening. But I can honestly say, hand over heart, as someone who has gone to that place, that very dark place, and then and now well and truly on the other side of it, years and years and years later, and we create the change happened pretty quickly in my marriage, that it is absolutely possible. And I feel so privileged and lucky to be in the position that I am, and to genuinely feel the way that I do. So I wanted to speak to that today, because I know there are many of you who are in that scenario, and who are feeling absolutely stuck and hopeless. And so if that is you, I really want you to know that there is hope, there is a way forward, and it does not have to be confrontational. It does not have to be full of complicated strategies and techniques. It's not about how much you have in common. It's not about your values. It's not about how often you go on date night. It's really not about those things. Okay, those are surface level things, and they are not the things that create change at all. They're not the things that create change. And, that is the hardest way to create change. Trying to work on communication is very, very hard when you're at each other's throats. Like, you know what I mean? It feels like you're trying to put a lid on a bubbling volcano, and it's only a matter of time before it explodes. And what happens when you put a lid on a bubbling volcano and it explodes? It gets to a point where it explodes one time too many, and that's it. And I know that for many people, that is the space that you find yourselves in, walking on eggshells, really scared of the next explosion, trying to avoid conflict at all costs, being careful with every word that comes out of your mouth in case it sets the other person off, feeling like you can't even breathe because you're going to get it wrong. You're going to say something offensive. You're going to inadvertently put your foot in it. So you find it easier to say less. So you shut down, right? Now, please understand that that is a horrible way to live your life. There is no joy there. It destroys goodwill. And it is no wonder that people get to a point where they say, that's it. I've had enough. I'm out. I'm walking away. Okay. I'm walking away because this is just too hard. And I hear it all the time. People contacting me and saying, Fiona, we're about to walk away. We love each other, but we can't do that walking on eggshells thing. We can't deal with the conflict anymore. I'm too scared to look sideways at my husband, or I'm too scared to look sideways at my wife. I dread coming home. I dread what mood they're going to be in. I feel good at work. I feel good here. And then as soon as my car drives in the driveway, I feel this dread in my stomach, right? I hear this all the time from people. Okay. And I also hear this from people who feel this way with friendships, with children, particularly teenage children. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an intimate relationship. What I teach applies to any and every relationship. So, these are sometimes I get people reaching out to me who have adult children in their 30s and 40s that they can't relate to, that they can't speak to, that where the relationship is very, very poor. And I have obviously blended families. I mean, I could go on and on and on with the different types of relationships, same-sex couples, etc., etc. But I just want you to know the solution is the same. So even though I might be speaking, if you're a same-sex couple listening and you're thinking, oh, some hetero chick's talking about her experience, what does she know? I just want you to know that I get it. And I totally appreciate why you would feel that way. But really, it doesn't matter your sexuality. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter your background. The fact is, we're all human beings. And as human beings, we're all built exactly the same way. Okay. So, it's really, really important to know that whatever the situation is, whatever body you are in, what the solution that I provide is exactly the same. That is what is so beautiful about what I teach, and so wonderful is that people come to me to sort out one thing, and they find out it sorts out 10 things, 15 things, 20 things that they never, never, ever, ever expected. So this is what is so, so, so exciting, because as I have become a teacher of this understanding, as I've devoted my life to teaching it to others, it has been something I have taken into every single area in my life. So not just my marriage, but how I parent my children, how I deal with I've got children to a different dad, two older boys to a different dad. So how I deal with that side of things, how I handle myself with work, and when it comes to hiring staff, when it comes to making strategic decisions about where I want to go in my business, and the types of clientele that I want to work with, and the programs I want to release. All of this is this understanding is a very big part of everything that I do. Okay, everything that I do. Let me see. So Sylvia, my husband and I have been separated for years, but still have to deal with each other all the time because of our children. I would love to find a way to relate to each other beyond the constant reacting to triggers. Oh my goodness, Sylvia. Yes, I totally get that one, honey. 100%. I think, as I just mentioned, my older boys have a different dad. That relationship broke down many, many years ago. And this is actually the breakdown of that relationship, what we all went through, the lack of help, that I could find good help that actually helped me, helped us navigate that. The sense of total disillusionment I found with the help that I was looking for at the time is the exact reason why I now do what I do. I was determined to find a better way, and I can say hand over heart, after many years of searching, I found it. I have 100%, no shadow of a doubt, found it. So Sylvia, if you want to find a different way without dealing with the triggers, I can absolutely help you with that. Absolutely. And it's much, much, much easier than you think, because my older boy's dad is very difficult, and it's not the easiest person to communicate with at all. And this has helped enormously with that. And also just how any residualness, even if we're not talking, how I feel about maybe certain things he's done or said with our children. I don't have the same overthinking, the same ruminating, the same sense of outrage that I once had many years ago. I just don't. I have a much grounded, calmer, and effortless way of dealing with all of that, which just means that my quality of life with my husband, with my other children, with my life, does not constantly get impacted by that. I no longer feel like a puppet on the end of a string, dependent upon what he does or doesn't do, or where his mood is or isn't. Okay, so yeah, life-changing, Sylvia. So I can absolutely, if that's something you're looking for help with, I can absolutely easily help you with that, honey. And the sense of relief you would feel is and lightness, amazing. Tasha Lee, everything touches everything. Hello, Tasha. Nice to Nice to see you on the call, honey. And yes, everything does touch everything because everything is connected. But that's for another conversation. Carl, oh, hello, beautiful Carly. Hello, darling. Fiona's program relatable would help so much. Yes, absolutely. Carly's done my program. Sylvia, my program relatable would absolutely help you with that beyond a shadow of a doubt. I can 100% guarantee that, hand over heart, that would help you with that. You would absolutely love it. And I say that to any of you listening. Look, if you're looking for relief in any of the areas that I'm talking about, I teach this beautiful, simple understanding that people say is like a breath of fresh air in the relationship space, and has people looking in a completely different direction, and has their mind slow down, their level of well-being rise, their ability to be present to the now, to get over things, to find joy in the simplest of things. This is what we are looking for and what we need more than ever in the world. And to have a greater sense and depth of connection to everything. It's just, like I say, greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And I feel so privileged and lucky that my husband and I get to celebrate what we do today, because if it wasn't for that, hand over heart, I would be divorced for sure, and not be in the position I am in right now. Hand over heart, that's 100% the way it would be. And I'm just so grateful. So yes, that absolutely would help with that. So I'm going to put it out there. If anyone has a question that you would like me to answer, if you have something in any kind of relationship, any issue in your life, I'm more than happy to. Well, Sylvia, a lot of people say that, honey. I've read many books on the principles and it feels so right, but clearly the big penny hasn't dropped for me yet. A lot of people say that, and they do my program and they say that it drops. A lot have said that. There's a lady, Cecily, who often jumps in here, who'd been studying those things for years, hadn't dropped, did my program and just went, she got it. And so a lot of people say that. So if that's something you want to see more deeply for yourself, then I think you'll find that my program will help you with that. Brian, hey, beautiful Brian, nice to see you. Always, as always, Brian. So if you have a question, please ask away. This is your opportunity, your time to do so. I thought what I would do is, whilst I'm waiting for those to come through, is kind of share some of the things that I've seen that have made the difference from me being in the state that I was 10 years ago, where I was ready to walk away from my marriage, to at the place I am now, where I genuinely feel connected. I'm very deeply in love, and very, very, very happy, and grateful to be in the place that I am, where it just feels like it gets better and better. Okay, and that's not pie in the sky stuff. That is true for me. I wouldn't share it with you if it wasn't. So hey, Brian, I'm going to see someone for the first time. Okay, cool. Someone new on the scene that you've met, Brian. Good for you. Congratulations. So, as I said, 10 years ago, when my husband and I, sorry, my dog has just come in here and let in a fly. It's Australia. It's summer. Okay. Well, almost summer. What do we have a lot of here? Flies and mosquitoes. So welcome to Australia. So, 9 or 10 years ago, as I said before, I was feeling very, very frustrated. I felt like my husband and I were on opposite planets. He was quite shut down, and I was very, very, very angry. There's always one who's shut down and one who's angry. You'll find when the relationship's in trouble, it always kind of ends up that way. One of you goes one way and one of you goes this way. One of you gets angry and projects. That was me. One of you goes shut down and quiet and withdraws and withholds. That was my husband. So that's the dynamic we were in. I felt like we had nothing in common. I felt like we were just way too different. And I, without realizing it, was making him wrong for everything. I really was. All I was doing all day long was gathering evidence to support the fact that I felt that we were incompatible, that I'd married the wrong person, and that really the only thing we could do was separate. So that was definitely where my thinking was. That was definitely my reality, and obviously I was devastated, and obviously feeling unbelievably stuck. So, it was not long after I kind of I decided, I'd said to my husband, I'm done, I'm out, I want to leave, that I came across something that changed the trajectory of my entire life. And I'm beyond grateful for that. I came across an understanding very randomly that a colleague showed me. I started reading books. I started learning about this, and I realized that whatever I'd been looking for all my life, I just found. And I started to notice a profound difference in the way I looked at my husband. A profound difference. I just started to see him completely differently. I had what I would call fresh thinking, and I was able to have a fresh start, a completely fresh start, not a fresh start over the top of a lot of upset where I'm pretending I'm having a fresh start, but I'm actually dragging around an enormous ball of residue. No. It wasn't one of those. It was truly and honestly a fresh start. And so few people understand that human beings are capable of a fresh start. Very few people. Okay? Very few people truly understand the power of this and get it. They don't know that we are capable of that. And we really are. We're capable of having a fresh start at any time with anyone around anything. I'm not saying you should, and I'm not saying you have to. So, don't take away the shoulds and the have tos here, because some of you hear this and go, yeah, but what about this situation? And what about that? And they pull out extreme examples. I'm just saying to you, this is what we're capable of. I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that you have to. I don't operate by shoulds and have tos, and I'm certainly not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing with your life. You know what's right for you. Okay. But I'm just telling you, this is what we have capacity for. This is what we are capable of as human beings. And I think it's something that very few people truly understand. But when you see it, when you see the true potential of a human being, when you see that we are absolutely capable of a fresh start, then it opens a doorway that I think is generally closed to most people. Now, once you walk through that doorway, you step into a different reality around many, many things. I can say this with complete confidence and certainty because this is what happened in my life. And I've seen it happen with countless clients and students that I work with in my programs or in my one-on-one work in my private practice. Okay. Countless, hundreds, thousands of examples. So when we have a fresh start, this is what a fresh start looks like. The past stops being brought into the present. And I see people doing this over and 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 over again. You stop bringing the past into the present. That no longer makes sense. I mean, the past is done. It's finished. Okay. It's no longer relevant. It no longer exists. The past does not exist in the now unless you bring it into the now. Okay. So people stop bringing the past into the present. That does an enormous amount for goodwill. It does an enormous amount for the quality of feeling and the depth of connection in your ability to listen. Okay. And people stop trying to control the future. So these are two massively problematic things. People bringing the past into the now because they innocently think, I need to bring the past into the now to stop myself from repeating what I've done before. Okay. Now, all that's happening when you do that, right? All that's happening when you do that is it's like driving a car looking in the rear vision mirror. Okay? What do you think's going to happen if you drive a car and you're only looking in the rear vision mirror? Do you think there's a very high chance that you're going to crash? Yes, extraordinarily high chance. Okay? So, but this is what people innocently and inadvertently do. And then they flavor the now with the past. So what happens? They're just repeating, and they wonder why. Why does this keep happening? Why is this happening to me? Why do I keep going out with the same people? Or why do my partner and I have the same kind of arguments? Because this is what you're doing. You're bringing the past into the now, and you don't even realize that you're doing it. Okay? What we bring with us is our biggest blind spot. Biggest blind spot. And I can say that because I see it all the time with my clients. People start to realize what they're bringing around with them, and they're genuinely shocked. Okay? And you have to understand what you bring with you flavors everything. It flavors everything. Most people are too busy looking out here trying to read the room without reading their own. Okay? You've got to know how to read your own room before you start reading anybody else's. So, this then becomes extremely problematic. And then because they're bringing the past into the now, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of overthinking, there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of angst. And then, boom, because they're feeling so fearful, worried, and full of angst, they then try and control the future. Okay, so we're now based in the past and then jumping to the future. Now, I can tell you what happens when you're based in the past and you're jumping into the future. Your mind is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Okay, like this. And there's no bandwidth for anything because your head is going so fast, you have no bandwidth. And so one smallest thing happens and boom, you're either exploding or shutting down, because they're the two options we have when there's no bandwidth, when we feel like we're the puppets on the end of a string, and when we're stuck, and when we're full of fear and worry. Okay. And so when your head's going fast, you're trying to control the future because you think that's what you need to do. You're not present to what is now. So you miss out on vital, vital, vital resources. You miss out on the ability to have a fresh start. So the ability to have a fresh start very much depends on you being in the now. Okay, you not dragging the past around with you like a protective shield. Okay, and you not trying to control your future. See, think about it for a second. You try and control another person. How does that work out? People don't like being controlled. People don't like being told what to do, what to think, what to say, how to be. People don't like being criticized. We all want to know that we're enough, right? Why do you think public speaking is a fear worse than death? It's considered the worst fear in the world. Why is that? Because people are afraid of being judged. They're fearful of judgment. And what do we do in our most intimate relationships? We judge the hell out of each other, don't we? We project and we judge. And so people become very fearful. And so they shut down, or they project, or they feel like they have to bring the past around them like a protective shield. Okay? And this is where relationships fall apart very, very, very quickly. Hey, Tasha. Yeah, what a skill. Thank you. Oh, Rob, hello from Minnesota. Hi, Rob. Thank you for saying happy anniversary. I really, really appreciate that, Rob. Thank you. Hey, Kate. Thanks for saying hi. Where are you from, Kate? You may have told me. I know you've said hi to me on a live before, so I'm sorry if I don't remember, but feel free to let me know where you're from, Kate. Always love to know that. So this is what happens. Now, anyone can have a fresh start. I've had people who have gotten together at 14, 15 years of age, who are now in their early 50s, come and see me and have a fresh start. Convinced that, because we got together as teenagers, of course we're going to, we can't move forward. It's too hard, etc., etc. Not true. I've had people who've done that come forward and see me and absolutely have a fresh start. Okay? So anyone can have a fresh start. Anyone. No matter what you're dealing with right now, anyone is capable of it. And it is a wonderful, freeing feeling when you can look at your partner or look at that person that you're struggling with and not be kind of infiltrated with memories from the past or worries about the future, where you can be clean and fresh and present in the now. The now is where love resides, guys. It is. Right? There is a speed to which life unfolds. And when your mind slows down to that, there is a whole other reality of joy, peace, wisdom, calm, emotional freedom, an ability to be appreciative and grateful without having to write it down in a book and remind yourself, I've got to write in my gratitude journal. It just starts to be the space that you live your life from. Now, when we live our life from this space, where we're appreciative and grateful, where there's a sense of calm and presence, right? When you have that, everything becomes easier. And I mean everything. Everything. Hey, Lisa. Hi from Sydney. Happy Freedom Day and anniversary. Thank you so much, honey. Appreciate that. I don't know if it's Freedom Day here. It kind of is. I wish it wasn't based on whether you were vaccinated or unvaccinated. I find that the division going on in this country very distressing. I really, really do. So it's Freedom Day for some, I guess, but for those people, for other people who haven't gone down that path, it's not. Nothing's changed, and that I find that really sad. And I hope as a country we can come together, because we all matter and we're all equal, and it's important that we. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Naomi, hi. How do you deal with resistance from separated husband? Been dealing with that for a very, very long time. I do too, Fiona. Thanks, Tasha. Yeah, it's something that matters a lot to me, I've got to say. How do you deal with resistance from a separated husband? Look, the most important thing when you're dealing with resistance, whether it's from a separated husband, from a teenager, from a current husband, from a boss, from a colleague, is you have got to understand the space that you are in. You have got to know whether you're neutral. You have to bring curiosity to the table. When you do that, it disarms the other person. Okay. Now, and it also means that you can show up to that without taking on board their stuff. The only reason we find it hard to deal with resistance from another human being is because when they project it out, we take it on. Okay. So, when you start to realize, and I'm very clear on this, I'm very clear on what belongs to somebody else. Just don't take it on. It's very clear to me. And I'm very, very clear on what is mine, and that it's not on me to project that onto somebody else. So knowing what is yours and what is somebody else's is so, 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 so important. Okay. And so when people take ownership over what is their own stuff, and this is something people struggle with a lot, and a big part of what I teach, when you start to take ownership over that, not from a place of blame or I'm a terrible person, but just from truly understanding what's going on, then you don't project that out onto somebody. And we are honestly, most of the time, without realizing it, innocently, inadvertently projecting stuff onto other people, and we can't see it. It's like this silent and invisible thing that we do. And it causes a lot of problems out there. Again, this isn't about right, wrong, or fault, but one of the things that I teach and people start to see very, very clearly is the space they're coming from and what they are actually creating and what they are putting out into the world energetically, because we're energetic beings, and it is our energy that impacts another person way before anything that we say does. Okay. So your energy comes through in everything in the way that you move, in the way you hold yourself. It's a direct reflection from the thinking that you believe is true. All of those things. So we start projecting this out to the people around us without realizing it, and that has a profound impact. So dealing with resistance from someone else, I got to know how to read my own room. Okay, I've got to be very clear on the space that I'm coming from. I need to know when I have healthy thinking and not healthy thinking. I need to know when I am neutral, and I need to have an understanding of the power of curiosity. When I bring that to resistance, it's amazing what happens to the resistance. Now, even if you are bringing all of that to someone and you're still getting resistance, here's what starts to happen. You don't care about the resistance. Now, if you don't care about the resistance, there is no resistance, right? I'm going to say that again. If you don't care about the resistance, there is no resistance. There's just someone opening their mouth and talking, right? And there's you opening your mouth and talking. But resistance is something that we see. Resistance is meaning that we put on something. So when you stop caring about that, and believe me, it's possible, then there is none, okay? And the other thing that I want to say is conflict only exists in a vacuum of understanding. So when there is no understanding, you have conflict. When there is understanding, there is no conflict. Once we have understanding, there is no conflict. So conflict only exists when there is a lack of understanding. And I can assure you, with the understanding that I teach, understanding starts to take over and conflict goes right down. And so that sense of resistance goes right down, and you get to show up the way you want to, irrespective of what someone else is bringing to the table. It's very cool and very powerful and very empowering. Now, who do I have to say? Maz, have I said hello? If I haven't, if I have, I apologize. Hello, Maz, and thank you for wishing me happy birthday, darling. Happy birthday. Sorry, happy anniversary. It's not my birthday, it's my wedding anniversary for those of you who've just joined. I just love your advice. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, darling. Franca Louise. Hi, Franca. Thanks for dropping by and saying hello, and thank you for wishing me happy anniversary. I do appreciate it. And Carly, cheers. Thanks, darling. So I'm just going to check in. Is this helpful, what I'm saying? Is just give me some feedback here, guys. Is this making sense? Thank you so much, Tasha. Yeah, it's lovely to be celebrating this, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this today was because I wanted to share that 10 years ago we were not in this space, and I was ready to walk out on my marriage. So I'm so grateful to have this in my life now, and to be living from this space every day. It's just the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and such an enormous gift. So I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for the feedback, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Tasha, and thank you for the anniversary wishes. Appreciate that, darling. Thank you, Lisa, Sylvia, and Lexus. Hi, Lexus. Thanks for saying hi and giving me some feedback. So, for those of you who are listening, if you are feeling stuck and powerless, I want you to know that, and you think that the only way you can get your power back is for the other person or for that situation to change in your life. I want you to know that you can get your power back. You are not at the mercy of life. You are not at the mercy of a person, and you are not at the mercy of a situation. Okay? I know it looks that way a lot of the time. That is the illusion, right? That is the illusion that the funny little human, as I call us, lives under a lot, right? Now, when that illusion disappears, and you start to see things very, very differently, okay, your sense of empowerment rises through the roof. You get a very strong sense of who you are, what is your truth, you get clarity, and when you have clarity creates conviction, okay? Now, please understand, when you have conviction, people listen to you differently. They do. They really do. It's a different energy that you bring. Okay? So if you've tried to speak your truth before or find your voice and it hasn't gone down very well, I'm going to guess that you didn't have a lot of conviction energetically with what you were saying. Okay? And that is why people questioned you. That is why you felt like you had to justify yourself, prove yourself, defend yourself. Okay? Because there wasn't a lot of conviction. It's unbelievable when you have conviction what happens out here and the way people respond to you. Okay? It's a totally different energetical frequency, and it's very, very, very powerful. Okay. Carly, oh, thank you, darling. if it doesn't make sense, once you take that leap and join the Relatable program, everything makes sense and it's so empowering. Yes, thank you, darling. Thank you. Do you guys know each other? Lex, I'm guessing Carly and Lexus, is it Lexus? Know each other? Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you for that. I'm going to guess then, Lexus, that you must be in Canada, like Carly. So anyway, welcome to the live, guys. For those of you who, and there's always someone who wants to know about my program Relatable and what's involved, I'm going to pop the link to that in the chat here, because you can go to that page, you can read all about what's in the program, how much it costs, there's a payment plan, etc., etc., etc. Oh, great friend for 15 years. Oh, okay, beautiful. That's awesome. Well, welcome, Lexus. And if you are looking for change, okay, if you are looking to feel more empowered, to stop overthinking, to feel calmer, more present, to not feel so frightened of your emotional reaction or somebody else's, if you're looking for a simple, easy understanding that you can take with you into any and every situation in your life, This is what I teach you step by step in Relatable. I have students all over the world who do Relatable, who absolutely love it. Students like Carly, like Maz, like a few people on the call here who regularly tell me it's the greatest thing they've ever done. And, we've built this beautiful, beautiful community. We call ourselves the Relatable Family, this Facebook community. And, there's live calls. It's just an awesome program. And, as you can see, I'm very, very, very passionate about it. And it doesn't matter if you're a male or female. We have just as many men and women doing Relatable who find it incredibly helpful, whether you are wanting help with a parenting issue with teenagers, to deal with a colleague at work, whether you want to deepen your relationship with yourself, if you want to obviously deal with your intimate relationships, if you're single and just want to up your relationship skills, all of that gets handled, taken care of, the whole lot in Relatable. And people absolutely love it. They look forward to it. It's a drip-fed program, so you get one module released per week. I often have people emailing me early, begging me to release the next module because they just want to keep watching it and devouring the information. But Relatable is one of those things that touches your soul and just gets better and better over time. Okay. True story. Thanks, Maz. True story. My life is so beautiful now. Yep, Maz is one of my students. Thank you so much, darling. Tasha Lee, can't wait. Beautiful, Tasha. I look forward to having you join us, darling. You'll absolutely, absolutely love it, love it, love it. Hey, Cecily, thank you, honey. Good morning to you. Well, yeah, good morning to you. And thank you for the anniversary wishes. Cecily is another lady who has done Relatable. And I actually mentioned you a little bit earlier, Cecily. There was a lady here, I'm not sure if she's still on the chat, Sylvia, who has an understanding of the 3 Ps, but said it hasn't quite clicked. And I said that you felt that way too, and you'd done Relatable and it had really clicked for you. So I actually mentioned to her that you found that for you, that really helped you. So if you're listening, Sylvia, Cecilia is the lady I was just telling you about, and she had a very profound experience, and everything kind of clicked for her from doing that. Okay, everybody. Well, I've got to go. I've got a client waiting for me, but I thank you so much for your time, your generosity. I hope that me sharing some of my journey from where I was stuck and angry and bitter and all sorts of things 10 years ago to how I feel today on my 17th wedding anniversary. I'm just so grateful, and I cannot even begin to tell you what a gift this has been in my life and in the life of my family. So thank you all for your love and best wishes. If you want to know more about Relatable, I've put the link in there. Just click on that and you can have a read through the page. If you want to ask a question, post it here. There are people on the chat now who can answer it for you and give you an honest answer to questions. I'm not paying them. I'm not, doing anything to manipulate their answers. So if you want honest first-hand questions from people who've done the program, ask away now or pop questions down there and I will jump back in and have a look later on. But thank you so much, everybody. Lots of love and best wishes to you, and I will see you next Friday. Ciao.